Hey, what's going on, you guys? Bring your friends here. I am making this video today to finally show off my Countless Cancer Condie Condition Hybrid build. So, after a couple days of experimentation and the new patch, finally have what you see today. So basically, the traits that you're going into is Dom, Dueling, and Illusions. We'll just go into Dom first, and then I'll explain all the synergies of the build as I go along. So, first off, you have Illusion of Vulnerability, imply vulnerability when you interrupt a foe. I'm just going to say, too long didn't read. You have lots of vulnerability with this build, probably more than ever before, and you'll be able to get like a 25 stack pretty quickly on your opponent, especially with Condie Shatter. All your Shatter skills inflict vulnerability. Dazing applies vulnerability, and yeah, deal more damage for each stack of vulnerability on your target. So pretty significant damage increase. You also have Blurred Inscriptions. Since this is a Signet build, you benefit greatly from this. Activating the Signet grants you Distortion, removes conditions, and the Signet recharge is also reduced. So pretty staple for obviously a Signet build. Power Block, interrupting damage, deals damage and inflicts weakness. Enemy skills that interrupt have increased cooldown. So yeah, pretty good. Going on to Dueling. You have Critical Infusion, gain critical or vigor when delivering a critical hit. Definitely good, except especially since they nerfed vigor, so you're going to need all the vigor you can get your hands on. Phantasmal Fury. Now I actually the trait that I wanted to run is Duelist Discipline, but you cannot because this trait, as of right now in its current stage, is bugged. It does not work, does not proc bleeds, and it just simply doesn't work. So Phantasmal Fury is your next best bet. However, just keep in note that you will be running Duelist Discipline when ANET finally decides to fix this bug for the trait. Moving on, you have Sharper Images, Illusions inflict bleeding on critical hits. So once they buff Duelist Discipline, you will synergize quite a bit with Sharper Images and Duelist Discipline. Blinding Dissipation. This is a really good staple with the build, especially Blinding Dissipation and Ineptitude. Blinding Dissipation, blind foes around you whenever you use a Shatter skill, and Ineptitude, cause confusion when you blind. So Blind Dissipation and Ineptitude go really well together, since blinding does confusion, so every time you shatter you also deal an extra stack of confusion on your foe as well. And with Ineptitude, might as well read it since I'm here. Let's see, blocking or evading an attack inflicts blind on your opponent, so every shatter also inflicts confusion, and when you use, like, say a Signet or whatever, which is technically a blind because of the distortion, you also give the enemy confusion. So really good trait, especially so if you dodge, use a Signet, doesn't matter. If they use an attack while you're doing it, inflicts confusion. So quite the good thing to have. Going on to Illusions, you have Illusionary Retribution. Shatter skills inflict confusion on hit, so that also applies. So now you do 2 stacks of confusion when you shatter instead of 1, and that's on any shatter, so that's really good. Lots of confusion. Persistence of memory, actually that's wrong. Well, actually no. Yeah, no, it's right. Compounding power, I'm tripping. Compounding power, gain increased damage and condition damage for each of your active illusions. Definitely really good. This one I've kind of been dabbling on quite a bit. You could use persistence of memory just because of the amount of shatter you're getting, especially with Signet of Illusion, since it is technically the only shatter reset in the game right now for Mesmer. So, and since I'm not using the Pledge or Torch, since I'm not using Torch, the Pledge really doesn't apply, so you might as well just look on from that one. So basically, persistence of memory or compounding power. I'm choosing compounding power with this build just because I feel it's just more spike. Or not really more spike, but when you have more illusions out, then you're doing more sustain because of the increased Condie damage. Illusionist Celerity, reduced recharge on illusion summoning skills, reduced recharge 20%. You don't really need this too often because you have Signet of the Ether. So yeah, I mean it's there, it's nice to have, I suppose, when your heal is down, but other than that it doesn't really serve too much of a purpose. if you have your heal ready to go and ready to reset your Phantasm. So I mean, if you really wanted more reset or on your Phantasms other than Signet of the Ether, you might as well just run Persistence of Memory instead on top of Illusionist Celerity, just so your recharge will just be that much quicker. Going on to the master trait, Maim the Disillusion is also staple. You definitely need it, especially since Anet decided to be a bunch of cool cats, and literally Master Fencer used to be compounding what was it, confusing combatants, but they just decided to just straight up ninja nerf and or well, actually ninja remove the skill without any warning or anything like that. So this was you cause confusion when you crit, which would actually be pretty nice, but since I'm still running Selly with this build, Master Fencer I suppose does help with the overall DPS, especially with Sword, since Sword is pretty much a physical weapon. But the reason I do run Sword is, 1, Blurred is nice, 2, the ability to swap to your foe is nice. It has distance, has a mob, has a lot of lockdown so you can land your shatters. I still feel Sword is superior to Scepter, just because, I don't know, Scepter still feels like a clunky weapon. It doesn't have that much of a defensive mechanic other than 1 block, but that being said, I still prefer Sword. Moving on, you have Master Misdirection. Confusion you inflict lasts longer, reduces the recharge of Shatter skills. Definitely a good trait to have, especially since I'm running Signet of Illusions, so that does synergize pretty well with that. And last but not least, as I said, Ineptitude, cause confusion when you blind. So a lot of synergetic shit in this build. Pretty awesome. I am still running Lyssa with Celestial Amulet, Sword, Pistol, Staff, double energy, now more important than ever. Doom on the pistol, Geomancy on the staff, so exact same sigil allocation I had before, exact same amulet I had before. I was still running Lyssa before, so this is completely the same. The only thing that's really changed is the build, and instead of Signet of Dom, you're running Signet of Illusions for my Clone Death build. But I might as well just hit a dummy real quick just to show you the damage. The damage is actually quite awesome. Shatter, Daze, Confusion, Shatter before you get the Warlock out, bang, dead. So, I mean, the damage is still pretty good. You just have to know your rotation on whatever you're doing. So basically what I do is just Magic Bolt, or summon the Duelist into the Bullet, use that stun to close distance with Swap, Blurred Frenzy. Confusion is essentially the Condition Shatter's mind rack, so Confusion Shatter into Diversion, swap to your staff, throw on Chaos Storm, and then basically you're gonna Warlock and Phase Retreat out at the same time. You then Mind Rack before you actually get the Warlock off, just so he has a chance to attack, and then that's it. And then that's pretty much the combo. Pretty decent damage too, if I might say, especially for Selly. About 7 Torment, 14 Confusion, around 20-something Vuln right there, 7 Bleed. The Bleed will actually be more once Duelist Discipline is fixed, so yeah. And the great thing about this, also another thing I forgot to add, Distortion is obviously now baseline with the patch, so you can use Distortion to cover your own Signet of Illusions, which gives you a straight Shatter reset, and they can't stop it either. I mean, they have a fourth of a second to delay it, right? So I mean, you could give it an extra dodge and then have a full blanket on Signet of Illusions. So like for example, I'll go to the target dummy and just rack it up with damage. Let's see. So I'll do the regular rotation, Fusion, Daze, Chaos Storm, Shatter. And so for example, like, oh, I need Signet of Illusions. Shatter that, boom, Signet of Illusions back up, you're ready to go. So boom, boom, boom. Signet of Illusions. Bang, bang. So I mean, yeah, pretty fun build. Lots of conditions, lots of pressure, lots of ways to negate damage through Distortion. I still like Mass Invis over Signet of Humility or MOA, whatever you want to call it now these days, just because even though you have the stun daze duration with Condie so prevalent in the game, I feel that it's still nice to have less of a cooldown and mass invisibility for a reset, plus the condition clear, than I would have with Moa, even though it's only on like a 144-second cooldown with the Signet reduction. So that's just me. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this build. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll probably be posting this on the forums as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. Cancer's still alive. You just have to switch to Signet of Illusions and run this build. I'm sure there's other ways to run Condie Shatter, but this is just my twist on it. Been running Signets for a while, and this is a good adaptation from Clone on Death to the world of boring Shatter. I shouldn't say boring Shatter, I just liked Clone Death better at the time. But, I mean, Shatter was never really hard of a concept. I just liked melting people with Clone of Death as opposed to Shatter before. So, thanks for watching. I'm Countless. Bring your friends. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys.